Hi.
It's great
Good
meeting with
morning.
you.
You too.
So if you can review for me the thing that you're struggling with right now.
Okay. So one thing is finding more people to join me in my business, looking for the right business partners.
And I noticed that you wrote in your form that you don't know how to find them.
Correct.
And I would imagine that if you want something and you believe that you don't know how to get it, that would create stress inside of you.
Yes. Stress.
Okay.
I hear.
So what we're going to do is we're going to work on that particular thought that you don't know how to find them. Okay.
Okay.
And we're going to go through a process of inquiry using the work of Byron Katie. And along the way, I might pause in order to help our viewers understand what's happening. And I appreciate your patience and understanding through that process. Okay. So the first thing we're going to do is I want you to pick a specific moment in time when you were really believing that thought. So it could be you're sitting at your desk and starting your workday. It could be you're in your kitchen cooking an omelet. Like, it really doesn't matter what it is you're doing. Just think a specific moment in time when that thought was alive in you.
Okay.
Okay, where are you?
At my desk.
Okay, so you're at your desk and you're believing the thought that you don't know how to find them.
Mm-hmm.
And what happens to you? How do you react when you're believing that thought?
I feel deflated. I get excited, new possibilities, and then I get deflated. So it's this feeling of, oh no, it's really never going to happen. I'm really not, I can't find them. I don't know where they are. I don't know who they are.
Okay, so you're in it. Okay, so I want you to close your eyes and be as present as you can in that moment. And I'm going to ask you two questions. So these two questions are two of my favorite questions in Byron Katie's process because it forces us to take a step back, and that already expands our consciousness. So you notice how your consciousness narrows when you're believing that thought.
Mm-hmm.
What we want to do is expand it a little bit because we want to be like, in a higher place. So the first question is a question to your gut. Is it true that you don't know how to find them?
It feels true that I
Great.
don't
We're
know
going
how
to
to
go with
find them.
yes. Okay. So the second question is, can you absolutely know that it's true that you don't know how to find them?
No.
And you feel the difference? It's like it feels true down here, but up here you're like, oh, wait a second. No, there's a different understanding. Okay.
Yes.
And how do you feel inside of your body when you're believing the thought that you don't know how to find them?
Well, now I feel like you just separated my gut from my brain. My stomach feels incredibly different right now than my heart and my head. You
Okay.
kind of like left the anxiousness of that question down in my gut.
Okay.
And when you said, is it really true? In my head, I was like, no, I can find them. I haven't yet 100%, but I can.
So, but right now I want you to feel when you're fully believing that you don't know how to find them, even what happens in your chest. So your stomach doesn't feel so good, and what happens in your chest?
It's kind of caved in on top.
Yeah. So something that I like to note to clients is that we have a vitality to us. There's something that animates us and holds us up. And you can really see that when you're holding a baby. And you're holding a baby and you're rocking a baby to sleep, and then all of a sudden it feels like you're holding a sack of potatoes. Like, right? They get really heavy really fast because they have something that animates them and holds them up, but when they fall asleep they kind of lose that. You can feel that? And so the thing that animates us, we tend to put it right here. That's why when people say I am, they put their hand right here. This is our animating energy. And when you're believing the thought that you don't know how to find them, your vitality kind of goes. And that's why you said you cave in. So it's like when a puppeteer is holding strings and they let go, and then it's like the puppet just collapses. You feel how that's what's happening? Okay. The question is, where did the vitality go?
I don't know, it kind of feels like it went to my head because my head is saying, is a little voice saying, yes, you can. Yes, you can.
So
Like a
close your
friend
eyes for a
whisper.
second. Close your eyes for a second and put your hands on your chest and take a deep breath. And I want you to imagine all of the scattered energies of you, right? You know how sometimes you could be in the past or in the future or in the kitchen or with your kids at school or wherever million other places you might be. If you could bring it all home under your hand. And now I want you to notice what happens to that energy when you're believing the thought, I don't know how to find them.
It feels more empowering. Like the desire, the drive and the inspiration to go find them.
When you're believing the thought that you don't know how to find them?
Well, when I'm holding my chest and gathered all my energy,
Ah, yes. Okay. And then
I
if
skip
you,
a step.
and then, no, that makes sense,
Okay.
right? Now, what I want you to do is imagine that you're fully believing you don't know how to find them.
Okay.
What happens to that energy?
I have this image of my chest concaving and it sinks in and it's like the image is like my ribs covering my chest to like protect me and there's this deep hole inside that no I can't is back there, like almost in like a cave of bones.
Oh, that's an intense image. And where does the energy go? Where does it go?
I don't know.
What I picture is like it's going scattered all over the country in this like almost as if it's like this abyss of like fearful running and chasing after things as opposed to being present in yourself and just like trusting the process. At least for me, that's kind of what I
Interesting.
imagine. It's like where I'm like running after something as opposed to like being in flow.
Right. The thoughts are going all to all those places and where is she? Where is she? Where is she? And
Yeah.
then nice. Nice to feel that.
So now the question is, if you have a full understanding inside of your body and you're noticing all the like the thoughts racing and you notice how you're behaving and what your energy is like when you have the thought. So the question is, how are you without the thought? And you jumped there right away, right? So that's question number 4 in Byron Katie's process. How are you without the thought? And when you brought yourself back into yourself, the thought actually had to go. Did you notice that? I didn't ask you to get rid of the thought. I just asked you to bring your energy back into yourself. And when you went into the present moment, there was probably no thinking going on whatsoever, or very little of it. You
Okay,
weren't
well, you
doing the
brought
like,
me to a feeling space. You said put my hand on my chest and like bring all the thoughts under the hand. So that brought all the energy under my hand. It felt like nurturing to myself.
and when you're full, when you're like full of yourself and you're in the present moment, the mind doesn't race.
Nice.
It's like fear can't be when you're full of yourself. You're trusting that everything's okay. It just kind of naturally happens when you go to that place, right?
Right.
So now picture yourself in front of the computer without your hand on your chest. You're just sitting in front of the computer and at your desk, and the thought that you don't know how to find them isn't there. So how are you without the thought?
Like inspired to take action, to do the work, to go find them without it being like fearful and in a panic, but just, okay, what do we need to do? What's the next step?
So in order to understand why this thought has come to visit you, for me, I have this deep understanding that every thought comes to visit us in order to teach us a lesson. Just like every person who comes into your life and every circumstance that comes into your life, you're like, oh, what can I learn from this? So a thought also begs to be learned from.
Mm-hmm.
And when we learn the lessons of the thought, then it doesn't need to come and visit us anymore. Unless there's some other lesson that it has to teach us still. Okay? And the lessons of the thought are embedded in what Byron Katie calls turnarounds, which is the opposite of the thought. So your thought is, I don't know how to find them. And the opposite is just taking one word in the statement and saying its opposite. I'm going to help you through the process because some opposites don't, there isn't really an opposite to I, but I'll show you how there is. Okay?
Okay.
So you don't know how to find them. What's one word that you can switch?
I know how to find them.
Great. Can you give me 3 reasons why it's true that you know how to find them?
Because I have found them before.
Okay.
Because I have access to the internet. Because I truly believe in what I do as a healer, and people want to be healthy and take care of themselves and their families.
Sweet. And you could come with more reasons if you wanted to. That was really fast. So what you're doing is you're giving your brain an opportunity to explore different ways of thinking.
Mm-hmm.
And when you're believing something like, I don't know how to find them, you start seeing like a movie reel of all of the evidence of why that's true. And what we're doing is we're giving you an opportunity to see a different kind of movie reel.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So give me another opposite of you don't know how to find them.
They know how to find me.
Wow. Okay. So that's like a double, triple opposite, but that's okay. I like it. Let's go. Let's go for it. They know how to find you. How's that true?
It's a little bit true. Again, because of the internet. How is that true? They know how to find me because I'm a people connector. So, different people refer me to other people, refer other people to me. So that's the way. How is it true that they know how to find me? I mean, if I had better advertising, they could find me better.
But as it is, you have people that you work with who came to you.
Yeah.
Wow. So close your eyes for a second and just sit with that. Because the energy of I don't know how to find them is this right? It's this very scattered all over the place energy. And here people came to you and all you had to do was sit there and do nothing. And they came to you. You feel that?
Yeah, except it's not that I did nothing. I did other work that brought, it casts a big net.
Exactly, totally. But it wasn't like this active search for that specific person. Cool.
Right.
So what's another opposite of you don't know how to find them? Just pick one word to say the opposite of.
Find, but what's the opposite of find? Lose?
Yeah.
I don't want to lose them.
You don't know how to lose them. Can you give me an example of how it's true that you don't know how to lose them?
Don't know how to lose them. No, I don't know how to do that. I don't know how to lose them.
Once you've built a relationship with someone, do you tend to lose them?
No.
So you don't know how to lose them.
Nice.
What's another reason?
So then could you say I build relationships?
So
like I don't know how to lose them?
Exactly. Because you build relationships, you don't know how to lose them. Right. Because imagine if you worked so hard to find people and then you kept losing them.
Right.
Right? Like that's really cool. It's like, oh wow, like I really do a good job of building solid relationships. To just be aware of that and to own that. So what's another opposite of you don't know how to find them? I have a really good one. Pick one of those words.
Them.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's the opposite of them?
In this case, it would, yes.
Ooh.
So in that moment, close your eyes and notice when you're on the computer, or you're sitting at your desk, how is it true that you don't know how to find yourself?
I'm not branding myself well. I'm not being clear and specific enough in my message to find them because I haven't properly branded me. And that is true.
So the other thing that comes into my mind is that when you put your hands on your chest and you came back to yourself, that was like finding yourself. And as soon as you did that and you got centered, so then everything was okay.
Right.
But in that moment when you're scrambling to find everybody else, you lose yourself. And it would be really helpful to find yourself again.
Yes.
And your hand is always there to put on your chest and go, here I am.
Yeah, it felt really good. I'm going to take that with me. I'm going to try that in the afternoons, especially, and be like, come back.
Come back home.
Yeah, there are all those pieces of energy floating about.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was good.
So one other opposite is changing the word I. So I don't know how to find them. I can become my thinking. So there's you, and then there's your thinking. And part of how you know that your thinking isn't you is that you have almost no control over it, right? It's not like you woke up this morning and said, I'm going to think the following thoughts, or you can't turn it off. You don't turn it on. It just kind of does its thing. And then all of a sudden, like a jingle from a commercial from 20 years ago will pop into your head. It kind of has a life of its own. And so being aware of the fact that your thinking is ideally a faculty that's a tool for you to use, as opposed to you being the tool. Does that make sense?
Say that one more time. Your thinking.
So your thinking is a tool, right? You want to be able to think. You don't want to actually have no thinking going on, because then you wouldn't be able to run your business. Like, you need thinking, right? But ideally, thinking should be the horse and you're the jockey, not the other way around. Not that it's riding you and you're going like stressed out, that you're riding it and you're saying, okay, thinking, I need you to process this mathematical equation, or I need you to make my shopping list right now, right? So your thinking is feeding you all of this negative stuff. And it could use like a little bit of like a spanking. So the problem is that your thinking doesn't know how to find them. Because your thinking is trying to tell you all the ways that it's not going to work, as opposed to your thinking doing its job, which is helping you find them. So just being aware of like, oh, that's a thought. It's not actually my truth. That when you came back into yourself, you knew that actually you do.
Right.
So the question is, all of these different turnarounds, they're like lessons for you, and you get an aha moment now. But it could be that an hour from now or tomorrow, like the fear might kick in again. So the question is, how do you cement the new ways of thinking? So you have a few different options. One is you take action based on those new ways of thinking. The other thing that I really like to do is every time you see evidence that supports one of the turnarounds, you say the turnaround out loud. So for example, you pick up the phone to call someone who's part of your loose tie network to see about building another connection. And as soon as you do that, make that call, you're like, see, I do know how to find them. Or somebody reaches out to you, or something happens where you start building more connections, you remind yourself, I do know how to find them. Or you can literally sit in front of the list of connections you already have and say, look, I know how to find them. I found this person and this person and this person and this person. So it's like literally further feeding as much as you can throughout the day this other way of thinking, so that this one starts to shrink, because the scales are just so much heavier in the thought that supports you.
Beautiful.
Wow.
And I'm going to put your book on my desk so that throughout the day, when I get discouraged, I'll just look at the book and remember to think those turnaround thoughts.
Amazing. Sounds great. It's been a pleasure sitting with you, and I hope you have a wonderful day.
Take care. You too. Take care. Bye.
Bye. Want to find out what's blocking your vitality? Quickly take the quiz at chanamason.com/health quiz.